Turn that off. Yeah, it's Trent University. Yeah. Really? That's where I'm going this week. I'm visiting elder. Yeah, and so. But anyway, so that mirror is being able to see yourself as that butterfly. And when you don't, that's okay. You don't have to be that pretty butterfly all the time. It's okay to be the egg stage or the larva stage or the cocoon stage. That's perfectly okay. And when you're okay with that, then you're on your way to healing, as opposed to thinking that you have to be, the butterfly all the time. It's okay, because that's how we grow, that's how we nurture, that's how we mature, is knowing that there's different stages to our being, and that's okay to be angry. Just don't carry it too long. I used to tell the children, it's okay to be mad. You can be mad at me. I get mad at you, but I'm not going to stay mad at you. So you have to teach them that it's okay, to express that, because if we don't, and we tell them to stop their crying when they feel like crying, then we're doing a lot of damage, because then what we're doing is we're telling them that their emotions aren't worthy, and therefore they're going to be holding them in and holding them in. By the time they become adults, there's a lot of baggage that they don't know how to unload. So that's where these addictions and illness comes from. And of course, can be used to see or understand things we cannot see. So culture isn't just visible, or it's also the invisible. You have to know that, one time I was doing a session on medicine wheel teachings in Maine, and in a circle of women, and there was a woman, she goes, Imelda, the whole time you were talking, I could see a little girl on your left side, and she was wearing a purple shawl. And it just meant so much to me, you know what I mean? Because I gave a little girl a purple shawl, and stuff before she passed. And so I said, that's amazing and stuff. Thank you. I'm glad she's here with me, because I need her little girl strength, So it's also things we can't see, and not to be afraid of those things. Or understand because they are ideas and not physical objects. Incorporates the beliefs, values, and worldviews of our Wabanaki ancestors. So we say star people, cloud people, standing ones are the trees. So when we have a relationship with our entire environment as relatives, then we have a different relationship than when we objectify them as the tree, the star, the moon, and so that's why it's meant, I really tried to push my language, because I don't want our next generation to come into a world without language, because then they're going to lose that relationships. So and that's why it's important. Thank you. Next one. Yeah. So the sacred circle symbolism is enacted in daily living, okay, and ceremonies. So Lee was asking about what does medicine wheel and teaching mean. Teaching is universal. They're not just Aboriginal teachings. They're universal teachings of harmony, of interdependence, respect, sharing. Sacred circle symbolism is enacted in daily living and ceremonies such as the Sundance, the Sweat Lodge, Sweetgrass ceremony, pipe ceremony, sunrise, and many feasts, death feast, birth, weddings. Medicine wheel teachings are passed on from generation to generation through ceremonies, traditions, storytelling, and actual practice. So what we're doing in this video now is, those of you who are going to be watching this, then it's your responsibility not just to keep it to yourself, because we're always taught that knowledge isn't something you keep in your mind and only in your mind. Knowledge is, it's something that affects your heart first, that it makes you feel good, or you never heard it before, and then you bring it to your mind to think about it and accept it as truth, and then it's so good that you bring it out and you pass it on to somebody else, and then that somebody else then carries on that teaching. Then it's wisdom, but it's not until it's shared, because otherwise it'll just rot in your mind. You know what I mean? So it's no good when it's solo, when it's just yours and yours alone. So that's why it's really important to pass it on from generation to generation. through all these ways. And actual practice, when you hear red path or walk the talk, it's really important, we can say all these things, but how do we really, accept it, and how do we really embrace it and internalize it? Yeah. Okay. Our Wolastoq elders have confirmed that the medicine wheels applies to our Wolastoq culture. They have confirmed that the values, and these are the values that Noel talks about too: respect, sharing, balance, harmony, interdependence, honesty, trust, responsibility, and others have guided their actions. And when you see the medicine wheel, you see the big circle, an inner circle, and then the small circle. And you notice in that small circle, like we do our medicine wheel, I think Noel does his this way. We do ours this way. You know what I mean? In that way, because there's a story that goes with it. But what that means is, in order for us as an individual to be walking our medicine wheel journey, we have to make sure that there's a little spirituality in us, that we have that belief system. We belong to a community and we're responsible to that community. And we also have to be physically taking care of our body, but also economically responsible by giving, to our community. And of course, to our mind and our political system. So we have to be involved in politics, because if we just say we don't like what's happening, like I'm so interested in American politics right now, and it's so sad of what's happening over there, but I can't keep my eyes and ears away from it, because I'm curious to see what's going to happen. How are they going to work that out? And stuff. So I was a follower of Obama. I still have the sign, actually. I have the Obama sign, and I have a Kennedy sign. Blah 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 blah. So it's interesting to me. So we can't say I'm not going to vote because I never get what I want. And when we do that, then we don't have the right to complain. If we don't vote, we don't have the right to complain. And trust me, that's an issue in Maliseet and Mi'kmaq. Some people won't vote in provincial elections or federal elections because they feel it's not a part of not a part of them. I do, because I want to make a difference. I want to make sure that I'm living on this land, in this province, and I want to make sure that I'm going to listen to everybody who wants to be the leader of this province. You know what I mean? So for me, I do, because I want to make sure that I may not be heard, but at least I feel good knowing that at least I voted to try to change what's happening and stuff. So those are all, our Wolastoq elders refer to these values as Wuliba Mausawaganal, the sacred earth walk. So that's what that means. So we didn't call them medicine wheel teachings, but I suppose I should change the title from medicine wheel teaching so that it doesn't become so controversial, and stuff. So, okay. And of course, so then these are just, we have these words. We have words in our language for sharing. Cinnamon, respect, nuseyawagan, harmony and balance. Ankewida haswagan, when your mind is in balance, that you're at peace with yourself. The peace that they promote at Christmas, for example. For solstice, we do a forgiveness ceremony. And it's called Nhaltam Wagan. So at solstice, before the new year begins, for us the new year begins at solstice, not January 1st, because of the 13 moons. So what we do is we have a forgiveness ceremony. You start with your family, and you go to your family members that you haven't been speaking to, and you ask them for forgiveness. Nhaltam Wingazi Wabligalulan, forgive me if I've spoke to you with words that hurt you. Or actions that have upset you, so that in the new year, so that we can walk together in the new year in friendship and peace, and then our children and Creator, because our children need to see it in the same way Creator needs to see what we do. Our children need to see that too. So we have witnesses from above and witnesses that are younger than us, to make sure that we walk in peace together, so they see forgiveness. that it's okay to forgive and not just say I'm sorry. So that's what Sankewita Haswagan means, is being at peace and not pressuring yourselves to fit into this, crazy idea of Christmas and over shopping and going into debt and seeing who can get the biggest thing. It's not the right thing to do. Interdependence, is we need each other. I can't do this alone. I need other people to help me, so that we can pass this message on. And of course, the rest are cooperation, trust, obedience, compassion, caring, kindness, patience. Yeah, go ahead. The next slide is just another. Listening is important, and it's always remember to remind people, 2 ears and 1 mouth. The more we listen, the more we learn. Hard work. There's a work ethic that's missing in our communities, and unfortunately, I really feel bad for the men, because our men used to be such hard workers, but now we have a generation of men that don't want to work, that have forgotten, because there's the Indian Affairs has made us, that stereotype of being lazy. It's not that they're lazy, it's just that nobody wants them. They're on that margin that I talked about before. So as much as they want to work, they're not hired, and stuff. So it's kind of sad to see our men. So you can imagine what it's like in a relationship if the woman is working and the man isn't working. So it kind of alters the family, dynamic. Community responsibility. We have people, I'm trying to promote volunteerism. I grew up with it, but it's hard to do it now. Matter of fact, one of the women I asked to cook for me, how much you gonna pay? And I said, that's okay, and stuff. Like, I would have given her money, but I didn't want to have to pay. Like, I'm not gonna take advantage of anybody either. I would have given her something. But the